Bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Let's go ahead and throw it back a few years to when we were 16 again, or if you're watching this and you are 16, just, well, yeah. There you are, looking at the red neon SXT that you thought was just like the coolest thing ever. Thinking to yourself, man, there's a bunch of cool stuff for these cars out there. Why does no one do anything to these? Why does everyone keep them stocked? There's so much cool stuff. So you hop on the internet, punch in 2005 Neon SXT aftermarket into the search bar, and armed with your crisp $230 paycheck from your fast food job, and you start just dumping parts into your shopping cart. If I could go back and tell myself just one thing, I would go back to that time, tell myself, just don't. And watch today's episode of The Build Sheet, where we're going to be talking about performance mods that you should probably just stay away from. I'm Giles from Fitment Industries. Don't forget to subscribe. Wheels, tires, and suspension. You know the thing that we do, we specialize in, that thing, fitmentindustries.com. Anyway, when we go ahead and look into the world of performance parts or mods for our cars, we're usually flooded by a list of suggestions from companies that have names that just make you cringe. The unfortunate truth is that there are a lot of parts out there that just don't do a damn thing, but they're cheap and they're marketed well, and they'll talk you right into it. Remember that thing like stranger danger? You should probably apply that same principle here as well. If you haven't heard of it, you probably should stay away from it.
Look, you just get in the car. I'll go and I'll take you to your dad's shop, okay? He's busy right now, all right? Just look, come on, hurry up, get in. I gotta get going. Hey.
Because the first thing we're probably guilty of is picking up a short ram intake for our cars. You know exactly which ones I'm talking about. And those who are watching and have bought one of those monstrosities are sitting there having flashbacks of when you were installing yours and the stupid rubber hose connector piece just was that much smaller than the throttle body, and you ended up using like a screwdriver to shoehorn the damn thing onto the throttle body, and just scuffed up everything, and it tore, but you just ran with it because it was $50 part, and it was $40 for that one part that broke. Short ram intakes are usually sold anywhere from around $50 to $150, which is one of the reasons why they're so popular. People go searching for a proper cold air intake, and they see the cost of that $300 to $600 and instantly bounce back to the cheaper option. Usually these intakes sit right off the throttle body of your engine and have completely exposed cone filter that sucks in all of the heat of your engine bay from the header. I mean, usually sometimes they'll just sit literally right next to the header. It may look cool, it may sound cool, you get some cool induction noises, but unfortunately, if you're looking at it as a performance aspect of your car, you're probably not gonna get much out of it. The next mod you should stay away from, or at least be a little cautious of, would be a performance chip. Now, I know that there are legitimate chips out there for performance and are usually useful for older cars and things like that. But the ones I'm talking about are the $50 old Game Boy looking game things that you just slap right into the OBD2 and promise that you get a gain of 15 to 20 horsepower. And guess what? They don't really work. Giles, yes it does. It's more responsive now. I can totally feel it, like the butt dyno. It's there, it works. It's just about as useful as putting a Dorito chip into your OBD2. I guarantee if you put that car on a dyno with that cheapo performance chip installed, the computer that's reading that machine is literally just going to laugh in your face. Now don't get me wrong here, a proper tune is totally worth it. We've talked about it in the past. And don't get chip confused with things such as an access port or another type of custom tuning platform. What usually happens is, again, people get a little sticker shock when they see that $600 price tag on a Cobb access port. Now, if you've ever worked in a parts store before, you'll probably be pretty familiar with the next performance mod that some people want to do to their car, and that is spark plugs and plug wires. I'm not exactly sure where the thought that dropping some new Zappy Boys with some thicker wires would increase horsepower came from, but I'm pretty sure it starts with the heat range of spark plugs. And the conversation usually goes something like this. Hi there, how can I help you today? Yeah, bro, I'm looking for some new spark plugs for my Honda Accord. I'm looking for something, it's gonna make me go faster, like those double platinum, super duper iridium things. I want nothing but the best. I wanna get another 5 horsepower out of the car. Here's the best way to do it. Oh, and I'll take some of those green spark plug wires because they'll match my wheels too. Hell yeah. The truth is, spark plugs can actually make a little bit of a difference, but not necessarily in the way that you would probably think. Spark plugs are meant for one thing and one thing only, and that is to provide an ignition source for your engine. And when you get into the heat range side of things when talking about spark plugs, it is typically referred to as being a hotter or colder plug, and that's kind of where the confusion technically starts to set in. Typically, naturally aspirated platforms will require a hotter plug due to higher combustion temperatures and more lean of a burn. When on the other hand, with boosted platforms, it is more typical to run a colder plug because of more rich air and fuel mixture. We see that a lot in the Focus ST platforms, people running colder plugs. So in the sense of switching out old and worn plugs to new plugs, or just adjusting the heat range to kind of correlate with your engine platform, you can get an increase in performance, but usually it's not anything noticeable or braggable. And then last, but certainly not least of like parts just to stay away from. I can't say I've ever actually seen one of these out in the wild. But they're out there, and it's those electric, like intake turbo supercharger fan tube things that you put in your intake. For right around $70, you can pick up one of these jet engine looking things and stick it right into the intake of your car. And in theory, it would make sense. You're pushing more air into the engine, kind of like a turbo, except for the fact that it doesn't compress the air at all. The key factor in boosting an engine, whether that be turbocharger, procharger, supercharger, whatever it be, is that they are designed to introduce more air into your engine in the form of compression. Similar to a jet engine, there are compressor blades inside of a turbo. Like you can literally take a turbo and turn it into a jet engine. And I swear to God, I saw a guy do it on YouTube. Whereas these fan things are literally just that. You'd be better off hooking up an old box fan that you bought in college into the front of your car and hope for the best. What it all comes down to is that if something sounds too good to be true, and it usually is. And if that doesn't add like another 20 years onto my age, I don't know what does. But unfortunately, $50 isn't going to add a bunch of horsepower to your car. Car parts are pricey, and quality parts are worth it. So if you're looking at picking up some parts for your car, don't be afraid to wait that little bit extra, save a little bit extra cash, and make sure that what you're getting is not only actually beneficial to your car, but is actually what you're expecting. Because even though those prices may seem convincing at first, after a while they add up, and then you're stuck with a car with a bunch of weird pieces and odds and ends, and it kind of confuses people as it drives down the road, and it confuses people at car meets when you pop the hood and they see just random poking everywhere. And then you look kind of silly, and we don't want you to look silly. So go ahead and drop a comment down below if you've made the mistake in the past about picking up some like maybe not so beneficial or maybe some fake performance parts. Drop them down in the comments below, or if there's something that we left out of this list that you think should be in the list, drop it down there as well. But I'm Giles from Fitment Industries. Don't forget to subscribe. Wheels, tires, suspension, you know the thing. FitmentIndustries.com. But that's gonna wrap it up for today. We'll see you later. Peace.